Hello, hello. Welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shante Roddy. I am coming on with another stimulus update and news report, an important report for entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'm going to be talking. We have a lot of these stimulus programs rolling out, as you know. We still have small business owners having some challenges. So I want to discuss all of those things, how to overcome the challenges, what you can do to advocate for yourself. I also want to inform you of some of the scams that are out there so you can be aware as well to protect yourself as a small business owner as well. So happy Friday to all of you all that are out there. Do come on in. Let me know who you are, where you are hailing from, what your business is, and what you are doing for the weekend. As you're coming on, we just want to thank all of our subscribers. And if you have not already subscribed, do subscribe. Give this a thumbs up. Share this out. Tag any entrepreneur, small business owner you know who needs access to this information so that they can have a financial lifeline for themselves, their families, and their businesses. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not going to talk about the stimulus checks. I'm not going to talk about the child care credits and all those types of things. Those are coming. I already did reports on those, and more information is coming on Monday. I want to really focus on the small business stimulus relief programs where there's billions of dollars available for you all to get access to free money for your business. Now, if you're not aware, the SBA yesterday launched the big Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program, which is a grant that's up to $10 million. They opened it yesterday, and guess what? Soon after they opened, it came crashing down. The systems came crashing down. So if you were one of those that were trying to apply yesterday, trying to log into the website, please let me know. If you are a live venue operator, if you represent talent, if you have a museum or a theater, these are the businesses that are eligible to apply for this program. If you're not sure if you're eligible, please do watch our videos that we've done on the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Do visit the SBA website. They have a ton of information. But it caused many challenges yesterday. So they are now closed. It was open at noon yesterday, then they closed. You can still register, but you cannot apply for the program while the SBA works to resolve their systematic issues. Now, just shortly before I came on the live, the SBA made an announcement on their Facebook page. They have a Facebook page that you can visit, that they will be shut down through the weekend while they work to resolve these problems. They want to make sure when they reopen it up, it'll be equal access for everybody to apply because it is first come, first serve. There are, as I said before, different phases as far as them processing the applications that come through, meaning that they're going to start with the ones that were most severely impacted, 90% or more, then it's 70% decrease in revenues or more, and then 25% decrease in revenues or more. Just to remind you, you do need a DUNS number. So I was reading some of the comments, the complaints and some of the frustration. There's still some people that don't know what a DUNS number is. So you definitely want to make sure you go to Dun & Bradstreet's website. Make sure you have a DUNS number. You also want to make sure that you are registered in the government system of awards management. That's where they award their contracts and their grants, and you have to be registered in that system in order to apply for this program. Okay, so I do all that review in the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant broadcast that I've done. I've done at least 3 or 4 of them at this point. Walkthroughs. We go through some of the FAQs. They have that on their website. They do have videos as well. They will have individuals such as myself, like through the SBA, the SBDC, and SCORE, that will be available to help all the small business owners out there who are applying for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Now, I can tell you, since I looked at all the requirements, they do have a checklist. You definitely want to download that checklist, review it, make sure you have every single thing that they're asking for, because it is a comprehensive list of things that you need to have to be able to show that you are indeed an event producer or whatever category you fall in under those that are eligible. Okay, so I do encourage you to apply. Just continue to monitor the SBA website and their Facebook page for continuous updates, as I will do as well. Once they reopen the application, we hope it will be Monday, but I'm not sure. But when they do, I will do another live specifically for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant to give you more information on that. So if you have questions on that grant, please do drop them in the comments, and I'll be sure to circle back to answer those questions for you. Now I want to move quickly on to the EIDL loan. So if you're not already aware, the great news is that the SBA this week started sending out email invitations to all these small entrepreneurs and small business owners out there who have applied for the EIDL loan program to be able to get, and that were funded. So not only did you apply, but you have already been funded to be able to get an increase of your loan amount. Okay, so Isabella Gunsman, the new chief, what she did was she increased the caps. So she increased the caps on the loans that was 150, increased it to $500,000, and they increased it from 6 months of working capital. Okay, so the funding that you got was based on 6 months of working capital. They increased it to 26 weeks. They increased it to 24 weeks. Okay, and they started sending out these emails. So I was seeing a lot of my peers had already gotten the emails. They started sending them out on the 6th and the 7th. And I just want to share my screen, pull it up for you so you can see it. And let me know if you have already received your email from the SBA inviting you to get your loan increase. Please let me know in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up on the screen, so you should see it here. This is just not that you're going to read all the way. I'm going to read what is on here. I'm going to scan over it, but I just want to make sure that you know what to anticipate and what it's going to look like. It's going to have the SBA's logo at the top. Make sure that it has the .gov at the end. That's the way you know that it's the SBA. It will say SBA.gov for sure. It won't be a .org, .com, or .net. That is not it. It looks like this. Okay, so you will see the top 2 paragraphs that's informing you of the based on the records that it is indicating that you have an EIDL loan. And is actually referencing the fact that there was a maximum of 150, then that it has been expanded, and that they're reaching out to you to inform you that the SBA's new increased loan limits for the COVID-19 EIDL program that's now in effect. And it says, please advise that the loans for amounts over $25,000. The SBA will continue to take security interest in business assets evidenced by the General Security Agreement of the UCC. So you know that they do put, it's like a lien on your business. This has always been in your paperwork for any loans over $25,000. So you definitely want to make sure that you read through that. It's also giving you a reminder that the SBA announced last week that they will be extending the first payment due date on your loans to 2022. Okay, so not only are they increasing the loan amount, but they're increasing the time that is deferred, where you don't have to pay on it. It will be into 2022, and that time period is based on when you took out your loan, and they go into more detail. Then in the bottom half of the correspondence that they send you is giving you the instructions to follow in order to request your increase. So it's saying that you're going to send an email to COVID EIDL increase request at sba.gov. So all of that is in the body of the email. The email address is highlighted in blue. It says use subject line EIDL increase request and insert your application number. So you always want to make sure your application number is there so they can trace it back to your application and make sure they have the correct one on file and apply the increase to the correct application. It says be sure to include in the body of your email identifying information for your current loan, including your application number, loan number, business name, business address, and business owner's name and phone number. So again, they can do that match. And they have it noted in bold, an important note that says, do not include any financial documents, tax records with your initial request. You will receive a follow-up email notification if they need additional information. So all you're doing is, again, sending them a brief email with your information and your request for a loan increase. And so now, again, the max dollar amount is $500,000 and up to 24. You get 24 weeks of working capital. So it just depends on your income. And then it just says they will process the request in the order that's received. That's why, again, we know that there's still billions and billions available for the EIDL loan program. It has been extended to December 31st of 2021. But again, remember that there are many millions of businesses that are applying for this program still. That will be requesting increases and that have already requested increases. So you want to make sure that you get yours before any money runs out, because we know the SBA has run out of money several times. And when that happens, that closes down the program until Congress allocates or approves to allocate additional funding. So again, you should anticipate to receive this email. It's a pretty quick process. I've actually heard from some of my peers that they've already received funds. So again, let me know if you received the email, if you received correspondence back from the SBA regarding the increase, or if you've been funded your increase. Okay, so let me know. So all of those and if you have not already applied for the EIDL program, in order to qualify, you must have been your business must have been in operation as of January 31st of 2020. This is for gig workers, independent contractors, self-employed, network marketers, if you fall into that category, solopreneurs, small business owners, nonprofits with employees, 500 employees or less, okay, can qualify for this loan program. That's the loan, okay? Now, one thing to note, this loan, because I had not a debate, but a lot of people not knowing, I put out a post yesterday that the difference between this loan program is it does have to be paid back. So I said they deferred the payments, okay? But it does have to be paid back. But there are advocates that are pushing to have it where it is either partially or fully forgiven. That has not happened. So you cannot bank on that happening, but you can advocate for yourself to see if that will happen. So the deferment gives room for that to happen for them. That's why, they're delaying, and it could potentially be that eventually part of it or the full amount will be forgiven. Okay. But anticipate that it will need to be paid back. Again, it has a maturity date of 30 years. And if you're a for-profit business, the interest rate is 3.75%. If you're a nonprofit, it is 2.75%. Okay. Now, moving on to the targeted EIDL grants. Okay, so this is another program administered by the SBA. They're managing a lot of programs right now, but this is the newer program available through the SBA that launched at the end of December. They added additional $15 billion to this targeted EIDL program as part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. In order to be eligible and invited to apply, you must have applied to the EIDL program on or before December 27th of 2020. So they've been sending out the email invites since February. I told you about 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. On Monday, it would be 3 weeks. So I'm monitoring my email closely to see if I get approved, and the requirements, for those that may not know, is that you have to have 300 or less employees. You must be in a low income community, and you must be able to prove in an 8-week period starting March 2nd of 2020 that your gross receipts, you had at least a 30% reduction or more in gross receipts in 2020 compared to that same 8-week period in 2019. Now, if you don't know already, I did a video that talks about the top 5 reasons the SBA is declining these a target EIDL grant applications. Now, this grant is up to $15,000. If you have not seen that video, go back to that video. But there are people being declined because they can't prove the economic loss. They're being declined if they're of course not in a low income community, if they don't meet the the basic requirements. But there are people that are saying, some small business owners that I'm hearing, that they did meet the 30% loss, but the SBA is coming back and saying they didn't. I don't know if it's an issue with the total amount that you may have generated in 2020, but that's not what the law says. That's not what the bill says. The bill states that you only have to be able to show a loss in an 8-week period in 2020 compared to 2019. It doesn't say that you have to show an entire year loss. So if anyone is processing it within the SBA that's doing that, that would not be accurate. And I've said before, there's not an opportunity for reconsideration process, meaning that you can't appeal. But look, if you feel that there is something that's not being done fairly, or that they're incorrect, you have their phone number, you have their email. I would email back as such, explaining your position. Make sure you can substantiate. Make sure you keep accurate records, and also make sure that you escalate it. Right? You can always, and I recommend contacting your state representative. So I'm glad to see that a lot more people are saying that and encouraging people to do that. That is how we affect change. That is how we've gotten a lot of these improvements for this program, is because we kept pushing. That's how we got here to be able to get the full $10,000 EIDL grant, is because we kept advocating, right? We kept pushing, kept pressuring Congress and our representatives to get on the ball and provide this relief and do what they said that they were going to do in the law, which was to provide the full $10,000. We're still pushing to get everybody that applied the full $10,000, regardless of what community you live in, and regardless if you have a 30% a decrease in gross receipts. But that's what it is right now. So I'm monitoring to see if I'm approved. Now, I should be approved. So if I get denied, I will come on here and tell you that I've been denied and what I plan to do about it, because I advocate. I will call the tops of the SBA. I will go to Twitter. I would do whatever I have to do to make sure that the correct action is taken. If I'm approved, I will do one as well. So I did that back in 2020 with the EIDL loan when I denied, and it at this point has like over 50,000 views, and help people to be able to overcome the denial of the loan. So you can still get reconsideration of the loan. You just can't get reconsideration of the grant as of right now. But our advocates are fully aware of the challenges with that, and so stay tuned for updates. But it is disheartening to see that many people are coming back and saying they were denied for one reason or another, and some don't necessarily think that is fair. And one reason is that with your tax returns. So I'll come on here. I'll tell you how important it is to get your tax returns done. And so those that submitted their tax returns later, your taxes are stuck in limbo at the IRS, meaning they're not fully processed to their master file, which means that these grant programs that you're applying to, that are in the SBA, is requesting that Form 4506T to verify you have legitimate tax returns on file, and it's coming back null, right, or zero, that they can't match or see that you have taxes filed, then you're getting automatically declined again with no appeal. And so we could, ask, is that fair? You've submitted your taxes. It's not your fault that the SBA is behind processing over 24 million tax returns. So know that people know this, and we are advocating, to get these issues addressed and resolved so everyone can get access to their $10,000 that they should have. Now, just as a reminder, it's $10,000 max for the initial grant. They started rolling this out in phases. Phase 1 are those that got a partial grant. Phase 2, those that didn't get any money like me. And then it says in the law that around the 42nd day after the launch of this program, the targeted EIDL grants, that they will start issuing out the supplemental $5,000. That's what gets you to the possible $15,000 targeted EIDL grant. Now, those that will be eligible for the $5,000 are those that have 10 employees or less, and they are either the first phase, again, that will be able to get it, are those that are in the severely impacted or have a severe loss category, which means you were able to demonstrate in an 8-week period that you had a loss of 50% or more. And then the next phase, the next wave that will be considered for the supplemental grant are those that had a substantial loss. Okay. And that is a loss between 30 and 50%. So that could take you to $15,000. So if you have received your email invitation from the SBA, let me know. If you've been approved for your targeted EIDL grant, let me know in the comments. And if you have been if you received your deposit, I would like to know as well. And if you've been denied, let me know that you've been not denied and why they denied you. Okay. And you definitely, again, keep those records because when you're advocating for yourself, when you reach out to your state representatives, they will ask you to sign a release form. Sorry, that's my dog. A release form to give them the ability to speak to the SBA on your behalf. That's why I highly recommend that you do that. Because it's not only you, but you have a state representative, a congressional representative actually speaking on your behalf to get the issues resolved. Okay, so that is the targeted EIDL grant. Now on to the Paycheck Protection Program, which is again another popular program administered by the SBA, where you actually apply with their approved lenders. You can apply with more than one lender. I recommend that you do so. I know there's been a lot of complaints about lenders taking too long. Like, why is it taking too long? Understand, we're down to crunch time. There's probably less at this point, less than $60 billion less, millions of people, businesses trying to get their applications they're in process. I know the SBA had already had like 2 million that were in limbo because of the system error, and there were about 190 so thousand that were like stuck in the approval process that they were working through. And I know it's frustrating when lenders don't get back. Some are more speedy than others. But what I have noticed is that with the second draws, they tend to be a little bit longer in being delayed and being responsive and following up. If you submitted all your information, If they haven't come back, but if they're taking a month or more to even get back with you, just leave that and apply with another lender. So like we have helped people with David Allen Capital. It's in the comments. I also recommend Womply as well to submit an application. PayPal is really good as well. They have been pretty quick and efficient, at least keeping us updated on the progress of our application. It's not weeks, but it's rather days. And I know with like the second draw that I did, it did take a week because the last correspondence I had was on Friday, and it's Friday again, and I received correspondence today. Now, one of the issues, I'm going to tell you the issue I ran into on my second draw. Like, I signed the promissory note, went to the SBA, I'm expecting to get back my loan number, and I didn't. I received an email that says something about I have an application on file somewhere else, which I don't. I didn't apply anywhere else under this particular business. So I called in and I got a response relatively quickly. And the representative sent me an email to be able to check the SBA's website. I think it's CAWeb at sba.gov to see what other applications, if any, are in the system showing up under this business. And it shouldn't be. If it is mistaken identity or some type of fraud. So I don't know, because you can apply other places. If they haven't processed your application, I don't know why the SBA will say it's an error. But you may run into this as well, but you just want to make sure that you follow through, want to make sure that you withdraw any other potential applications that may be stopping them from processing the application that you're trying to get through. But I'm still very excited about that. I've been checking my emails probably more than usual, right? With all these programs that I'm looking to get funded from. And then my other business I'm waiting for as well has been about a week. And I was expecting to get correspondence today. And I haven't heard anything, but I could give correspondence tomorrow, because the correspondence that I received for this grant, this PPP, came in the middle of the night, after midnight. So you could get it in the wee hours of the night. You may get correspondence on the weekend, because they do work on the weekends. So I'm very happy about that, and looking forward to getting the second draw on this the first business, and first draw on the second business. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Again, if you have not applied for first draw, please apply. If you are a gig worker, self-employed, independent contractor, solopreneur, I think is this category of businesses or entrepreneurs that are having the most challenge, because they don't even know about the program. They don't know that they're eligible. They think they have to have employees, and you don't. President Biden changed the rules. They made millions more businesses more eligible. They changed the calculation for Schedule C filers, so that you can now apply based on your gross or your net, but you want to apply based on your gross so you get more money. Before it was based on your net, meaning that disqualified a lot of people, because once you may have made good money, but after all your expenses, your what you actually netted was very little or none, or loss. And so that was hindering a lot of us from being able to apply for the program, and then making it where we had very little amounts of loans. And so now you can see the increased amount that you can potentially get. Now, one thing that I noted earlier today, and this is a tip for you all, just in case you don't know, you can apply for PPP with your 2019 income or your 2020 income. Okay. So for one of my businesses that has my mature business, even though I had a loss in 2020, I actually wound up doing really well at the end of the year. And income wise, I exceeded my 2019. So I used my 2020 to base my calculation, and I'm able to get a larger amount of funding for PPP, because PPP is the forgivable loan. It's easy to get it forgiven, especially for Schedule C filers. You can spend 100% on your salary replacement, okay, which is your owner's compensation. So I hope you caught that, okay? So you can use 2019 or 2020 income for your Paycheck Protection Program funding to do the calculation, okay? And the calculation I did came back the same for them every time. So you would know what you qualify for before you even submit the application. If you need help with that, we have a playlist for Paycheck Protection Program. We go step by step. I walk through the different forms, the different applications, and even how to do the calculation for the Schedule C filers, how to determine how much monthly income that you receive, because I still find that self-employed people don't know how to calculate their income or their monthly average of what they made. We have the calculation. It's even on our YouTube page, on our community wall and our Facebook wall. Okay, so if you need that information, you can find it there. So please, this money, the PPP was extended through May the 31st, but everybody is saying it's not going to last that long. It is not going to last that long. You cannot wait and hold off to the last hour. Try to if you get your first draw, get funded, allocated, you have to use it. You have to spend your money, the funds, for what is intended to be used on within an 8 to 24 week period. Use the funds, and then apply for second draw. If you have time, you still have time, depending on when you apply, before that May 31st date, because again, we do not know if they're going to extend it. They just extended it, but we don't know if they're going to extend it by the date, and we don't know if they're going to add more funding to the program. Although, again, our advocates are pushing for them to add more money to be just to be able to accommodate the fact that they made these changes, making more people eligible, needing more time and more money, so the people that need it the most, or the businesses that need it most, can apply and get funded. But do not wait to the last minute. Start applying for the programs. There's ample opportunities, many lenders out here, but be careful as well, okay? So really quickly, I just want to talk about small businesses and the vulnerability of small business, especially right now. Don't be desperate. I know everybody needs help, but please do your due diligence. There are scammers out here. We all know that there are. There are people and bots that are popping up all across social media. They're on our YouTube page. They're on our Facebook page, and they're creating these fake accounts pretending to be She Boss Talk, right? And they're talking to you as though they're us. You want to, whoever you're talking to, do not give up. We will never, just like the SBA and IRS, we will never ask you to send us personal information in comments. We won't ask you to send personal information in an email or a text message. So be mindful when you hear things, and a lot of you are, and you contact me, you email me and saying, there's somebody pretending to be you. Like, is this you? This sounds kind of strange. And they're talking to you, and you're giving them your information. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just do your due diligence. If you ever have a question, we vet everything, every program. You contact us. You can email us at hello@shebosstalk.com. I'm never going to lure you somewhere else. That is not us. You can click on the channel's icon and see that they're not us. Usually they have a page that has 0 or 1 subscriber because it's a fake account, or there's bots in there leading you to Instagram or Telegram. And someone said they created a fake account. It's not us. It doesn't have our logo. It has She Boss, and you think it's us. It's not us. Okay. Do not give out your information. Okay. Be very careful. Just like I said with the SBA, you thinking it's the SBA, look at the email address before you click on anything, respond to anything. Click on the address. If it doesn't say @sba.gov, it is not the SBA. And if it says sba.gov, do your due diligence, but don't just ignore emails and then not qualify for the program because you ignored the email. So that's why I put the emails on the screen, so you see exactly what they look like, and you can expect to see when they pop up in your email, and to check your inbox and your spam folders. Report these individuals that are doing this, these accounts that are fraudulent. If you receive phishing emails, there's phishing emails and phishing text messages, you can report them. Okay. So just again, do your due diligence. Be mindful of that. There are scammers, but don't let that stop you. Just be aware and protect yourself. Never start giving out your personal information. Okay. And ask them questions. I think if you ask them like 1 or 2 questions, you pretty quickly will find out if they're real or not, or if they have some type of fraudulent activities going on. Okay. So, and how do you know if a lender is credible? Okay. Any of the ones we provide are credible. You can also go to the SBA website. You can go to their website, or you can Google SBA lender. They have a lender list on their website. We've shared it many times in our videos. But just go to their lender list. And that's how you would know if it is a legit lender or not. Okay. Be careful of these people that's saying too that they're trying to help you with PPP and any other, and they're charging you. Some programs they can, some programs they can't. There's no fees that you're charged. You're not charged any extra fees for PPP or EIDL. All those extra fees are paid by the SBA. Okay. Or is handled by the SBA and the lenders. You're not charged anything extra. I want you to know that. Okay. There is assistance out here with the SBA. They will assist you. The SBDC, Small Business Development Center, SCORE offices. So if we have free videos, explainer videos that you can use. Like I can charge to help with EIDL. I can't charge you to help with the application. I can charge you to advise you, but I can't charge you to help you prepare the application. We're not allowed to do that. But there are people that are doing it. Okay. So an example, someone contacted me. I think this is important. Someone contacted me. Okay. In my inbox in the middle of the night, and I answered. Okay. They were asking for help with PPP. They said someone was charging them. They don't want to pay anybody. In the same breath, they said they don't have time to do anything. Okay. So it's either you are going to, someone else is going to do it. You're going to pay them to do it. Okay. If it's legal for you to pay them to do it, or you're going to use tools and do it yourself. It's an either or. You either have to prioritize and make time to do it, or somebody else, you're going to invest in someone else to do it. That's how it works. So that's why I let her know. Like, you know, I gave her information. She came to my inbox. I didn't go to hers. And then I gave her the information, and she told me I was scamming her. I said, if you thought I was scamming you, why would you come to my inbox? Okay. I said, you taking my time away from people that actually need and want my help. And I said, you either have to do two things. If you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to get the money. I mean, you think it's just going to land in your lap or land in your bank account? It's not. That's not how it works. So you have to be willing to put in the work like everybody else, or hire someone that knows what they're doing. But make sure, again, you hire someone that knows what they're doing and they're not scamming you. Okay, that is very important. That's why having a network, having referrals is the best thing to do. So I gave you my email. If you ever need referrals for something, please feel free to email us. People do it all the time. And I have a well-vetted network. They're stellar at what they do. They're professional, because that's my reputation on the line. I don't just refer anybody or any company. I have relationships built with these people because I want to be able to protect your interests. Okay. And I hope all of you all are doing that too, building those relationships, expanding your network of people that provide solutions to problems that people have. That is very important. Okay. So be your own advocate. If you feel like in applying for any of these stimulus programs that there's a lack of equity, that there's you're not finding that there's fairness, or you were not treated correctly, or anything like that, you have a voice. You have power as a small business owner. It's not enough just to complain on a post or write me an email. You need to be writing the people that are being paid with tax dollars that make these decisions on the behalf of small businesses. So you need to contact your state representative, contact your local representatives as well, and let them know what's going on. I mean, you can go to the news if you have to, escalate however you need to. You can do it and be professional. If you need to go to Twitter, all the congressmen and women are on Twitter. Okay, we've done campaigns, petitions on Twitter, and Twitter actually gets a lot of results. I can say that because it helped me in the process. The 3 programs I was denied and overcame those denials, and Twitter helped me in that regard. So you can be professional, but you can use your voice and let them know that's what's going on. How else do they know what's going on unless we tell them? You can't assume that they know. So we have to bombard them. If there's 100,000 people saying the same thing, then they're going to take action. If we're bombarding them, they're going to get tired of it, and they're going to put the fire under the SBA to solve the problems, right? So that's basically how it works. You really have to be resilient, persistent. You have to stay the course. You can't give up. I know it's frustrating. I know it's a challenge. I was just saying that with my own PPP application. As quickly as it's going, I think it could be going much quicker, right? And so now I have a stumbling block where they say that there's some error showing that I have an application somewhere else. But I will take my time to work through it until we get that resolved. That's all you can do. You have to know what's in your control and what's outside of your control. You handle what's in your control, and then what's not, you just have to let it play itself out, right? So I encourage you all to do that. So there's many other programs rolling out. Just really quickly, the restaurant revitalization grant will be rolling out in a couple of weeks. My understanding is in about 3 weeks. So by the end of April, it's supposed to roll out. After once they get this Shuttered venue operators grant up and running. And I know many of you all out there are in the restaurant industry. So whether you have a catering business, you have a coffee shop, tea shop, bar, restaurant, if people are coming to your place of business and to eat and drink, or eat or drink, you fit in that category. So I have at least 2 or 3 videos on the restaurant revitalization grant. I will come on live when they do open it, and probably before, because they don't even have it on the website, the SBA. So we're waiting on them to get that on their website. The guidance, I know the restaurant industry does have some guidance until we get it from the SBA, but I always like to have it from the SBA first before I go live, so I have something to really guide you based on what came officially from the SBA. So be on the lookout for that. Child care providers, they're already rolling the money down to the states for those child care block grants. I've done videos on those as well. Those are not run by the SBA. Is actually the Department of Health and Human Services. Every state has child care block grants. The funding is just going to build up the grant. So the grants are there. So contact in your state, the agency that's operating that grant, and see if it's open, when it will open, has it been funded by the federal dollars yet, and how can you apply. Child care providers, this is for you. Just like unemployment is administered, it will be administered at the state level. And as we know, every state is different. They have guidelines, but every state is different in how they run their programs. So you definitely have to go to the state. They also reported that the $350 billion that is allocated to the states is now starting to be divvied up to the states. That is the pool of money that a lot of the small business relief is coming from at the state level. So be aware that that's coming down as well. So states already have their relief grant programs, whether it's mortgage relief, rent relief, small business relief. They already have it, and more of it is to come. And it actually is. It goes down from the state to the county to the city. So you will see relief at all these different levels that you can get access to. As a small business owner and as an individual, as a family, to get support for your business. So make sure that you are looking in your local geographic area. That's where the bulk of the money is right now, to be able to give you financial relief. So before I close out, I see all the comments on here. I'm just going to see if there's any questions that I can answer. Okay, someone is saying that they just finished their 2020 taxes. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm not on my 2020 yet. Now, even if you haven't done your 2020 taxes, you can still, and I've said this before, because they're not expecting that your 2020 taxes are done, because they're not even due yet. And there's talk about even extending that date past the date that they extended it to, which is in May. But you get the tax form off the IRS website. That's what I did. I got the 1040 Schedule C, and I filled it out manually based on my income. But I know what my income is because I have my financial records. I have an accounting system. So it's easy for me to pull up my records and know what I made every month, every quarter, and in a particular year. You all would need to start doing that. Because I find a lot of people are struggling because they don't have those financial systems in place. They don't know. They're not keeping track of their sales records. And so it's causing a real problem when you try to figure out if you had any type of a loss. And all of these programs are requiring you to show that you had a loss. And the percentages of loss vary, but the calculation, the process to determine it is the same. The process is the same. So Gloria is saying, don't wait to apply for round 2. She got approved by the SBA. Yeah, you don't have to wait 8 weeks. I mean, they say that is the standard. It's up to the SBA to approve or deny you, but you don't have 8 weeks at this point, right? The deadline is May the 31st. So apply for round 1. If you haven't already, apply for round 2 as soon as, but you have to be funded first. Like some people were saying they were applying. If you can you apply for round 1 and 2 at the same time? No, you cannot. Many people putting in multiple applications, reapplying, has just caused delays, and it throws up fraud flags. Let me see if there's any questions. So there's people still waiting on EIDL, people that have gotten approval letters. Someone is saying Wells Fargo told their brother that they can't apply for a second job because they are waiting for clearance from the SBA. That's the thing. The SBA has to clear. So I applied early and look what happened. Now they're saying that there's an error and I have some applications somewhere else. So now I have to figure out what's going on at the SBA. So sometimes you're able to get through, sometimes you're not. And then this also, the banking. Those of you that are independent contractors aren't really functioning as a business, although you are a business and you're using personal accounts. That's another big issue that's coming back where people are saying they're being declined, or the money, the lender is depositing your money for PPP and the bank is bouncing it back. And I've heard this from Chime, Chase Bank, other banks. So what I would recommend you do is before you even get your deposit, contact your bank and let them know that you're anticipating these deposits. So even if they deposited, what I'm hearing is that they're shutting down your accounts. They're shutting down the account. They get the deposit and they're holding it, investigating. So that's further delaying you getting actual access to your money, because now your account is shut down. So now your account is shut down and you apply for another program and you won't get funded, right? Because now the bank account you put for the other program is closed. So now you're getting hit twice. That's how important it is to make sure you are using a business bank account. And that's what the banks are saying. They're saying because you're getting SBA money, SBA is for small business, and you don't have a business bank account, they're shutting it down. They expect you to have a business bank account. And so many of you say, oh, we don't need a business bank account. You're using Cash App. You're assuming that that's going to work. It may work for one program. It may not work for another. The safest thing to do is to get a business bank account. Make sure that it accepts large deposit and ACH debits, transfers. Because if it bounced back, they may not allow you to get it again. But it's happening to millions of businesses. I'm in groups where they're saying that they've been denied or it's bounced back. They got $20,000 and the bank took it, or the bank is holding it and it's under investigation because you're using personal accounts, commingling business and personal, which you're not supposed to be doing for tax purposes either. But it's causing a real problem. So I just don't want you to get in that situation. So at minimum, call your bank and inform them that this is happening. You may be getting a $20,000 or a deposit or a larger deposit, and make sure that they accept those and that you can transfer the money. You can apply for second draw right now. I mean, after you use the funds, allocate the funds. Okay. All right. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, as always, I will circle back afterwards. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Do tag a business owner that you know needs this information. Share it out across to your peers and across social media, wherever you know entrepreneurs are that need the help to get a financial lifeline for their business. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Continue to be the boss with amplified impact and continue to stay safe and in good health. Have a wonderful day.